Why does 13-year-old Blue Ivy look like she's 25? No one realizes that she has never been allowed to have a real childhood like Rumi. When Blue Ivy recently performed on stage with her mother Beyoncé during the Cowboy Carter tour, she frequently changed her looks. At only 13 years old, she wore 5 sets of high-end, custom-made outfits in one night of the premiere. Tasseled leather pants, a corset, and sequined gloves. All these were the treatments that celebrities
restricted this again. Hating. You know what? Anytime I realize or come across someone hating, I'm like, damn, I'm really that great? Someone like little old me gonna hate on? Thank you, Bear, for that love. So anytime you have a hater, or anytime, you know, people trying to stop you or anything like that, just know that just doubles down on how great you are. Because if you weren't anything special, no one would be putting in.
Why is a 13-year-old girl taking over the world's biggest stadium stages, while a vocal powerhouse signed to the exact same label is left in the shadows, fighting just to be heard? For months, pop culture lovers and celebrity drama sleuths have been asking a question that standard industry PR refuses to address. How did Chloe Bailey, a young woman who was once hailed as the heir apparent to Beyoncé's musical throne, watch her solo career flounder, while Blue Ivy Carter was elevated into a global pop icon before even finishing middle school? Fans always assumed the label was just struggling with marketing or trying to find Chloe's signature sound. But what if the lack of support wasn't an accident at all? What if it was a calculated, deliberate strategy designed from the very top? People in the industry like to talk about the price of fame, but nobody ever talks about the price of stepping on the wrong toes. Chloe Bailey spoke out on live streams, dropped cryptic warnings about the real cost of Hollywood success, and pointed to dark industry themes that left her fans completely chilled.
After Sinners, I cried. It just reminds you so much of the industry.
To understand how we got here, you have to rewind to 2015. Back then, Chloe and her younger sister, Halle, were just 2 wildly gifted teenagers singing from their living room. Their YouTube covers were pure magic, blending insane vocal arrangements with harmony that only sisters could pull off. When they posted their haunting cover of Beyoncé's Pretty Hurts, it didn't just go viral, it landed on the desk of Beyoncé herself. Queen Bee was so blown away by their raw, undiscovered talents that she signed them directly to her management company, Parkwood Entertainment, on a $1 million deal.
Do you know why I cried? Yes or no? Or you're just like, Chloe, you cried because you're crazy. You're silly. So I think anyone who, it just reminds you so much of the industry, right? And it's like, you could have a gift like he did with his guitar. And like they said, when he's singing, he's honoring his ancestors and uplifting and all of that, but then it also attracts the not good. So it's like, in order for him to be successful, the vampires were telling him he has to sell out so that he could be, so he could live forever and his music could live forever. And it's exactly like things that I see and go through every day. And that's why I just like broke down crying, because it was showing like the people who decided not to go to the other side, they were in there fighting for their lives. They were in there going through it. While the ones who did give in, they were outside celebrating and having a good time and got things quicker and things like that. So the reason why Sinners resonated with me so much is because it's something that you see every day. And no matter how hard you work, no matter how good a person that you are, no matter how talented you are, sometimes that's not enough to get you places that you need to be. And that's why Sinners, like, I was crying right after, because I feel like anyone in the industry.
At the time, it felt like a real-life fairy tale. These 2 young black girls from Atlanta were being personally mentored by the biggest superstar on the planet. Beyoncé took them under her wing, giving them cameo roles in her visual masterpiece Lemonade, taking them on tour as her official opening act across Europe, and showcasing them as the future face of Parkwood. For years, the sister duo Chloe x Halle was critically adored.
This again. Hating. You know what? Anytime I realize or come across someone hating, I'm like, damn, I'm really that great? Someone like little old me gonna hate on? Thank you, Bear, for that love. So anytime you have a hater or anytime, people trying to stop you or anything like that, just know that just doubles down on how great you are. Because if you weren't anything special, no one would be putting in all.
Their 2020 album Ungodly Hour became an instant R&B classic, debuting high on the Billboard charts and scoring multiple Grammy nominations. Chloe wasn't just a singer. She was producing, arranging vocals, and putting in 18-hour studio days. She was a creative force, and everyone in the music business saw her as an absolute star.
Why does 13-year-old Blue Ivy look like she's 25? No one realizes that she has never been allowed to have a real childhood like Rumi. When Blue Ivy recently performed on stage with her mother Beyoncé during the Cowboy Carter tour, she frequently changed her looks. At only 13 years old, she wore 5 sets of high-end, custom-made outfits in one night of the premiere. Tasseled leather pants, a corset, and sequined gloves. All these were the treatments that...
When Halle landed the starring role as Ariel in Disney's live-action The Little Mermaid, she had to pack her bags and move to London for almost a year of filming. That was the moment Chloe began working on her solo material. She was nervous, vulnerable, and trying to find her own identity outside of her sister. Industry insiders were hyping her up as the next big solo diva. She had the voice, the dance training, the look, and the backing of the ultimate pop queen. But as soon as Chloe started building momentum on her own, the energy behind the scenes began to shift in a way nobody saw coming. What nobody expected was how fast the tide would turn the moment Chloe stepped out as an independent force.
Even have Grammys, like they don't sing yet. They don't sing.
Right.
They don't rap yet. And they already have Grammys and shit. So it's like they give them this trophy so we secure.
It started with subtle shifts in rollout strategies, but soon turned into full-blown public confusion. When Chloe dropped her debut solo single, Have Mercy, it went viral instantly, showing off her crazy choreography and high energy. But instead of riding that wave, her rollouts started feeling disjointed. Her creative direction was constantly criticized for being overly sexualized, and fans felt like her actual vocal talent was being pushed into the background.
Coming up for Beyoncé on the Formation Tour in Europe, so we're so excited.
Very excited.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so
Then came early 2023, when Chloe was set to release her debut solo album, In Pieces. This was supposed to be her grand moment. Yet, when the release week arrived, the silence from her own label boss was deafening. Beyoncé, who has nearly 300 million followers on Instagram and can instantly drive millions of sales with a single post, didn't share a single word about Chloe's album on her main page. Not a story, not a post, not a mention. When In Pieces debuted at a shocking number 119 on the Billboard 200, selling only 10,000 units in its first week, radio hosts like DJ Envy on The Breakfast Club openly called out the situation, stating that Beyoncé could have given Chloe a top 50 entry with just one simple repost. Why would a label owner let one of her most talented artists struggle like that? But here's the twist. While Chloe's promotional engine was seemingly turned off, another young performer at Parkwood was receiving the absolute royal treatment. Beyoncé's 13-year-old daughter, Blue Ivy Carter.
Record label, right? Or you are in business with somebody. That's part of what you assume or what you think, right? If I'm an artist and I sign to anybody, and I seen Jay-Z do it to his biggest artists, Beanie Siegel, to Rihanna, to Kanye, to Emil, he promotes.
During the massive Renaissance World Tour and subsequent Cowboy Carter era, Blue Ivy was brought out front and center, performing complex choreography in front of tens of thousands of fans night after night. Blue was decked out in custom high-end designer outfits, from leather corsets to sequined gloves, and given dedicated stage time that seasoned performers spend decades dreaming of. Fans began putting two and two together. Why was a child being pushed so aggressively into the spotlight while proven vocalists signed to the exact same label were left without tour opening spots or high-profile co-signs?
Aaliyah was given a sleeping pill and carried onto the plane unconscious before the fatal crash happened in the Bahamas. Kingsley Russell, who was 13 at the time, was in the car that drove Aaliyah and her team to the airport for their return flight to Miami. According to Kingsley Russell, they took her out of the van and she didn't even know she was getting boarded on a plane. Russell says she went on that air.
Rumors exploded across social media that Chloe was never meant to be the next superstar. Fans started alleging that Beyoncé had signed Chloe and Halle to hold down the fort and keep the spotlight warm until Blue Ivy was old enough to step up and claim the throne. The moment Chloe showed potential to become a massive, standalone R&B powerhouse in her own right, the support mysteriously dried up. Things got even darker when Chloe went live on TikTok and Instagram. Instead of brushing off the talk, she appeared visibly emotional and began speaking in coded, troubling language. She talked about the movie Sinners, a film about artists confronting sinister, supernatural forces, and mentioned how deeply it resonated with what she had personally witnessed behind music industry doors.
Barry, when Aaliyah died for a wrongful death, he got paid $90 million for her death. Am I supposed to say that on TV? For $90 million for her death.
Was that just for his rights or whatever he owned?
What she would have been able to make if she hadn't have died.
Oh, okay. There was a lot of lawsuits.
I guess.
Okay.
But that was the settlement. I wasn't in. I was there when we went over to the. He got $90 million. He wouldn't stayed at the L'Hermitage Hotel. We ate good. And straight in deep mourning.
Chloe spoke candidly about watching artists face horrific choices between holding on to their souls or sacrificing their integrity for commercial success. Shortly after she dropped these heavy hints about spiritual struggles and record label sacrifices, fans noticed her streams getting flagged and planned collaborations with fellow artists disappearing from schedules. To make matters even stranger, commentators pointed back to past industry controversies like 50 Cent's viral comments questioning how a 9-year-old Blue Ivy won a Grammy before countless working musicians. People began asking if the system had been rigged from the start to ensure that no female artist under the Parkwood umbrella could ever outshine the family legacy. The narrative shifted from simple label mismanagement to a full-blown tale of betrayal and strategic career sabotage.
It's been going on since 2006, and it's just been getting worse and worse and worse. And for a very long time, I put this person on a pedestal. I love them. I send emails, publicly, happy birthday and all this stuff. And the entire time, this person was casting spells and manipulating me and controlling my job situations, my relationships.
The emotional toll on Chloe during this entire period was heartbreaking to watch. Imagine pouring your entire life, your heart, and your mental health into an album, only to feel like the very people who promised to protect your career are pulling the plug behind your back. During multiple live streams, Chloe broke down in tears while addressing the harsh online criticism, the public body shaming, and the feeling that no matter how hard she worked, it was never enough. She had given up a normal teenage existence, sacrificed personal relationships, and spent years in isolation in the studio, only to realize that industry loyalty is often a one-way street. The psychological strain of being praised in private as a prodigy while being publicly ignored during your biggest moments is a trauma few can understand. Chloe wasn't just fighting low sales numbers, she was fighting for her self-worth and trying to figure out who she was when the fairy godmother who discovered her suddenly stepped aside. Her family dynamics and bond with Halle were put under immense pressure as fans constantly compared their trajectories, trying to create division between sisters who had built everything together from scratch. At the end of the day, Chloe Bailey's journey exposes the cold, ruthless reality of the music business. In Hollywood, dynamic talent and raw dedication don't always guarantee a fair shot when dynasty and legacy take priority. Chloe gave everything she had to an empire, only to learn that in a kingdom built on absolute power, there can only ever be one queen and one designated heiress. But despite every roadblock, every cold shoulder, and every attempt to dim her light, Chloe is still standing, still singing, and still refusing to stay silent about what goes on behind closed doors. Her story serves as a stark reminder to every rising star out there. Not every open door is a blessing, and not every mentor wants to see you outshine them. As Blue Ivy continues her rise on the world stage, and Chloe continues to build her career on her own terms, one question remains hanging in the air. How many more gifted artists will have to watch their dreams get put in pieces before the truth about the industry finally comes to light?